You meditate, you read spiritual books, you try to be mindful. But the moment someone cuts you off in traffic or your boss emails you at midnight, all that peace vanishes instantly. Why can't you hold on to calm? This isn't about sitting meditation. It's about the mind's battle moment by moment. In the next 12 minutes, Krishna explains the internal war that nobody talks about. The one between your senses and your soul. And why you keep losing. Episode 7. You've learned Karma Yoga, acting without attachment, but your senses keep hijacking you. Today, Krishna reveals why spiritual progress feels impossible and the only weapon that works. Subscribe for all 18 chapters. For me, Arjuna, there is nothing in all the three worlds that must be done, nothing that remains unattained, that needs to be attained, yet I engage in action. If I did not engage in tireless action, people everywhere would follow my path in every way. If I ceased to work, these worlds would collapse into chaos. I would be the creator of confusion and would destroy all these beings. Watch this pattern everywhere: a parent who tells their child not to lie but lies themselves, a teacher who preaches discipline but shows up late, a leader who talks about sacrifice but lives in luxury. Krishna's saying something radical. The most powerful teaching isn't what you say, it's what you do. Especially when no one's watching. Especially when you don't need to. As the ignorant act with attachment to results, Arjuna, so should the wise act without attachment, but with the desire to lead people on the right path. The wise should not create confusion in the minds of the ignorant who are attached to action. Rather, acting in harmony with me, they should inspire others to engage in all proper action. Here comes the blow that shatters every ego on the planet. Every action you've taken, waking up, making decisions, falling in love, none of it was actually done by you. All actions are performed by the three gunas, the qualities of nature: Sattva, purity, clarity, light; Rajas, passion, activity, desire; Tamas, inertia, darkness, confusion. Your biology, chemistry, conditioning, they're doing everything. But the ego, confused by identification with the body, claims full credit. I am the doer. Modern neuroscience is catching up to what Krishna said 5,000 years ago. Studies suggest your brain begins processing decisions milliseconds before conscious awareness. Dopamine shapes your motivation. Serotonin influences your mood. Cortisol triggers stress. Your genes, your childhood, your environment. You're a complex interaction of forces you didn't choose. And yet, the ego claims full credit. I did this. I'm so disciplined. I'm so smart. All actions are performed in all respects by the gunas of Prakriti, of nature. But one whose mind is deluded by ego sense thinks, I am the doer. But one who knows the truth about the division of the gunas and their actions, O Arjuna, understanding that the gunas interact with the gunas, does not become attached. This is the most liberating truth in the Gita. You are not the doer. You never were. The body acts, the mind thinks, the emotions feel, all driven by nature's qualities. But the real you, the consciousness witnessing all of this, that never acts. It simply observes. Like the sky watching clouds pass. Like the screen displaying a movie. Untouched. Unchanged. Free. Therefore, Arjuna, surrendering all actions to me, with your mind focused on the self, free from desire and possessiveness, with your mental fever cured, fight. Those who constantly follow this teaching of mine with faith and without complaint, they too are freed from the bondage of actions. But those who criticize and do not follow this teaching, know them to be deluded, lost, and devoid of all knowledge. Surrendering actions doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means this: you prepare for the exam with everything you have. You study, you focus, you give it your all. But the result, you release it. You applied for the job with full effort. You were honest, prepared, excellent. But whether you get it, you release it. You loved completely, gave fully, showed up authentically. But whether they stay, you release it. This is surrender. Maximum effort. Zero attachment to outcome. Arjuna's grip on his bow loosened slightly. The weight of responsibility. Still there, but lighter now. Not carelessness. Freedom. The burden of outcomes lifting from his chest. Not laziness. Presence. The fever of, I must succeed, cooling to steady calm. Not defeat. Peace. His breath deepened. But Krishna wasn't done. There was still one more truth to reveal. Even a wise person acts according to their own nature. All beings follow their nature. What can restraint accomplish? Better to perform one's own dharma imperfectly than to perform another's dharma perfectly. Better to die performing one's own dharma. Another's dharma brings only danger. This might be the most important career advice you'll ever get. Don't force yourself into someone else's path. Don't become what others expect if it violates your nature. Krishna's not saying it's easy, he's saying it's necessary. Your authentic dharma, even with its struggles, will bring you more alive than another's perfect path ever could. Because you can't fight your nature, you can only exhaust yourself trying. A river doesn't try to become an ocean, it flows according to its nature, and the ocean comes to meet it. A seed doesn't try to become a different tree. It grows according to its DNA and becomes exactly what it was meant to be. This is Dharma, not duty imposed from outside, but nature expressed from within. The universe has already decided what you are. Your only job is to stop pretending to be something else. Arjuna looked at his bow, the weapon he'd trained with since childhood. The skill that came to him as naturally as breathing. Was this his nature? Was this his dharma? To fight? To protect? Even when it meant facing his own family? The question was no longer whether he wanted to. It was whether he could escape what he already was. But something still bothered him. A shadow he couldn't shake. Krishna, what is it that compels a person to commit sin, even against their will, as if driven by force? It is desire. It is anger, born of the quality of rajas, passion. Know this as the enemy, all-devouring and deeply sinful. As fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, as an embryo is covered by the womb, so is knowledge covered by this eternal enemy of the wise in the form of desire, which is an insatiable fire. This is the real war, Arjuna, not the armies in front of you. The battle against desire, the fire that never says enough. One promotion leads to wanting another. One relationship leads to wanting a better one. One achievement leads to needing the next. Desire promises fulfillment, but delivers only more desire. And when desire is blocked, it transforms into anger. Same energy, different face. Look at modern life, designed to feed the fire of desire. Every ad tells you you're incomplete. Every post shows you what you're missing. Every algorithm feeds you more of what you crave. The latest phone, the perfect body, the dream vacation, more followers, more likes, more stuff. And when you finally get it, 5 seconds of satisfaction. Then the fire starts burning again for something new. This is the enemy Krishna's warning about. Pause. Which controls you more, desire or anger? Drop your answer in the comments. The senses, the mind, and the intellect are said to be its seat. Through these, it deludes the embodied soul by veiling its knowledge. Therefore, first controlling the senses, Arjuna, destroy this sinful enemy, the destroyer of knowledge and realization. Your senses scream, I want that. Your mind believes it. Yes, I need that. But your intellect can step back and ask, do I really? And beyond even intellect, pure awareness watches the entire show with perfect detachment. The person scrolling through their phone at 2 a.m. knows intellectually they should sleep. But the senses want stimulation. The mind is hooked. The intellect is overpowered. The only way to win? Strengthen the intellect. Connect to something higher than thinking. The senses are said to be superior, the mind superior to the senses, the intellect superior to the mind. But superior even to the intellect is the self. Thus, knowing what is superior to the intellect and controlling the self by the self destroy the enemy in the form of desire, which is so difficult to conquer. The transformation was complete. Arjuna saw it now. The enemy wasn't out there. It was in here. Desire wearing the mask of righteousness. Anger pretending to be justice. The ego claiming to be the doer when nature was doing everything. He'd been fighting the wrong war, resisting the battle in front of him while losing the battle within. But now the fog had lifted. The real victory wasn't defeating the Kauravas. It was defeating desire itself. You face this battle every day. When the alarm goes off and you want to hit snooze. When you know you should work but desire says scroll instead. When you should speak truth but fear says stay quiet. When you should let go but ego says hold on. When you should be present but mind says worry about tomorrow. These micro-battles decide who you become. Win them with intellect. Win them with awareness. Win them by remembering. You are not the desire. You are the consciousness watching desire arise and pass away. Krishna looked at Arjuna. Arjuna looked at Krishna. No more words were needed. The teaching of Chapter 3 was complete. Karma Yoga had been revealed, the path of action without attachment. The truth about who really acts. The enemy within identified. The weapon to defeat it given. But Krishna had one more gift to give. One more revelation that would shatter everything Arjuna thought he knew about reality itself. The sun had fully risen over Kurukshetra. The armies stood ready. The war was about to begin. But for Arjuna, another war had already been won. The war against ignorance. The war against ego. The war against the illusion that he was separate from the cosmic dance. He didn't know it yet, but he was ready for what came next. And what about you? What's the war you're avoiding? What's the battle you need to fight inside before you can win outside? What desire is masquerading as necessity in your life? What anger is pretending to be righteousness? What ego is claiming credit for what nature is doing? The war before the war. The victory that makes all other victories possible. The courage to face yourself. This is Karma Yoga. This is the path Krishna showed Arjuna. And it's the same path waiting for you. Krishna smiled, that mysterious smile that knew more than words could say. Chapter 3 was complete. The philosophy of action had been taught. But philosophy alone wouldn't be enough. Arjuna needed to see, to witness, to experience the truth beyond thought. And in the next chapter, Krishna would show him something no human had ever seen before. Something that would change everything. Forever. Here's what just landed. 5 truths that change everything. 1. The Gunas of nature, not you, are doing all actions. 2. Desire is the real enemy, an insatiable fire that never says enough. 3. Follow your own Dharma imperfectly rather than another's path perfectly. 4. The hierarchy of control, senses, mind, intellect, and beyond all of them, the witness consciousness. 5. Maximum effort, zero attachment to outcome. This is Karma Yoga. This is the war before the war. Episode 8, The God Who Returns. Krishna was born recently, right? Just decades ago. But he claims he taught this exact yoga to the sun god at the beginning of time. Either Krishna is lying, or reality is far stranger than you think. Next episode reveals the secret of the avatar, the consciousness that returns again and again when darkness rises. If you're binge-watching this series, welcome. If you're new, hit subscribe. This is Season 1 to 18 episodes covering all 18 chapters. Full series. 4 seasons, 72 episodes total. Honest moment. Which sense controls you most? Food? Visual stimulation? Sound? Identify your weakest link in the comments.